People have been asking me, mostly men, but people have been asking me about my trip to Cartagena, Colombia. If you've seen my video when I talked about the begging and the vendors and just some of the harassment you're gonna go through on my YouTube, so you can just scroll. I ain't got a lot of stuff up there. Find the title, should be self-explanatory, so no need to go back through that. But all right, so my recommendation for Cartagena starts with booking the trip. I booked mine through a travel agency and paid, by the time you get through all their fees and all of that other stuff that you got to go through, I paid about, I say about $1,300, which isn't a lot for international vacation. But here's the thing: after going and seeing how it really works over there, how the prices of things go, I realized I could have saved myself about $900, right? So I had so much fun, I booked the trip back. I am going back in October of this year. Wanted to go back soon. I almost went this weekend. A buddy of mine is going, and he was like, hey, man, I got a pass for you. You got to book a one-way back. I'm like, I can do that. But my comedy class graduates, and I want to be there for more people. So Cartagena, you got to wait till October, maybe before. All right, so a round-trip ticket, if you book in advance enough, a round-trip ticket to Cartagena should run you. And I'm in Atlanta. My flight back was about $348, and that's for a round trip. And it was only that much because I always add trip protections, because you just never know what happens in life. Life happens, And as a comedian, my schedule might change. I might be on tour in October. Never know. Without the trip protection, I was looking at about $317 for a round trip ticket to Cartagena. Now, out of Atlanta, I've only seen one direct flight, and that was through JetBlue. So they have them. It's just rare. You're probably going to have to go to Miami or Fort Lauderdale. Try to find you not a long layover. I try to keep all my layovers to at least 2 hours or less. 30 minutes, you playing with it, because you know how it is when you land. Everybody takes 75 days to get off the flight. Hotel. My hotel, I stayed at the Sunsetter. It was out in an area called Boca Grande. Now, if you don't know, Cartagena is pretty much the part of Colombia where Colombians go to vacation. So Boca Grande is more of the upper echelon part of Cartagena. So that hotel, as it turns out, was about $95 a night. Now, I paid a little bit more going through a travel agent, but this was like pretty much 4 or 5 star. It was real nice. Now, we had something go wrong with the travel agency and the communication with the hotel the first night. So we ended up having to crash at my homeboy house. Thank God he was there. We would have had to, rebook some more accommodations. Now, the place that I booked my flight through and my travel through, they did reimburse me, which ended up working out in my favor. So shout out to them. But anyway, now, hotels. Cartagena is pretty much all of South America, man. Come on, these are what they consider third world countries, but they have a pretty good infrastructure. So I ain't gonna really call it a third world country. I'll just say a country that don't get the iPhone 13 when we do. Sex tourism is a big thing there. It's overwhelming, but we'll get to that in a minute. So the point I'm trying to make about the hotel is, they have this certain guest policy. So if you are solo and you plan on bringing anybody back to your hotel room, I would suggest you add a guest when you book your trip. That's going to save you $30 a guest. Yeah, you heard that right. And they pretty much do it for your safety. A lot of stuff goes on in these places, man. A lot of shit. It can happen in Vegas. So imagine what can happen in a place that's less developed, where people are pretty much, hustling to make a living. There's no welfare system. There is none of that. The government will not save you in Colombia. So you got to get it how you live. So, hey. Now, the women. It's overwhelming. Buy a pair of shades. Take a pair of shades with you for a couple of reasons. For one, if you make eye contact with anybody, they're going to try to sell you something or beg. But for two, when it comes to the women, man, you want to have a pair of shades on, because a lot of them are going to be trying to choose you. Like, hey, Colombia is the place to go if you don't have any confidence as a man. If you struggle with women, you go to Colombia. It's a certain street, I don't know the name of it, but it's where a majority of the clubs are. We'll call it Confidence Street, because you will get pulled, tugged. I'm talking about Don't wear no swimming trunks either, because you will get groped. I believe I got pickpocketed by some fat girls down there, but that's a whole nother story. All right, so brings me to the next point. Money. Do not walk around with a lot of cash on you. And don't, for any reason, exchange your US dollars at the airport for those pesos, because they gonna tax that ass with them fees. You want to go to a local currency exchange. You want to go somewhere, you know, where the exchange rate is going to give you a little bit more for your money. Now, the exchange rate changes every day, so you don't want to go down there and just cash out on $1,000 US, because the exchange rate might be better the next day. Now, ATMs are also a pretty good place to get, more bang for your buck. But you got to be careful with them, because they are sketchy. Now, you do not want to go to no ATMs in no alleyways, none of that. You want to go to an ATM at the bank, somewhere legit. All right. Yeah, don't drink the water. The bottled water is, your best friend in Colombia. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention about the hotels. Most of the high-end, the 5-star hotels, like the one I was at, they got a Waldorf, I think, or a Ritz. Intercontinental, last time I checked, was $95 a night, which, if you come from the U.S., like, what? That's a steal. But also probably got the same kind of guest policy. Airbnb, you can get an Airbnb for real cheap. You're talking about maybe $40, $25 sometimes. But you want to do your research. If you got somebody down there that can kind of tell you about the area, because most of these places are only going to show you the inside. They ain't showing you what's going on out of them streets in the front. That's what matters. So, but also be careful with it, because some Airbnbs might not have a guest policy. But like I say, man, you want to be careful. I actually looked up when it comes to the women. Women are going to be women no matter where you go. And if you keep that mind frame, you should be all right. So basically what I did, I hooked up with a chica when in Rome, right? It's overwhelming. You can't help it. And I don't know about y'all, man, but as a man, you pay for it regardless. Whether it's indirectly with movies and dates and time on the phone and all that, or you can just do a direct transaction. Now, this was my first time. Not to brag, as you can see, I ain't really got no problem getting no ladies. But so this was my first time. This was my first time doing it the direct way. All right. But I kept the same mind frame of these are still women. So I said that to say, a lot of these girls down here working, most of them. Now, even if they are a student, even if they are a nurse, even if they do hair, even if whatever they got going on. So ain't nothing free, y'all. Ain't nothing free. So just keep that in mind. All right. If you are going to go hang out at the bars, they got a spot called Delirium, I believe. I didn't go to the clubs too much, but I did go one night just to get the experience. Overwhelming. It's like, I ain't gonna lie, man, the ratio that night in there was like 30-1. It was to the point, if you look around the club, all the women are looking directly at you like, choose me, please, what's happening? It's overwhelming. My buddy started laughing. I just kept my head down. I was like, man, I'm not looking. And one chick I made eye contact with, she was already on me by the time I could even do anything else. WhatsApp is your best friend in Colombia. That's what everybody uses to communicate. Also, download Google Translator if you do not know any Espanol, no habla Espanol. Learn a little bit, man. It was to the point where I got home and I downloaded Babbel. And I'm like, I'm finna learn Spanish because I'm planning on spending a lot of time over here. Spanish will help you. Spanish will save you from dangerous situations, possibly. It would also save you from paying American prices, or quote-unquote gringo prices. I ended up meeting a young lady, and I'm able to recognize choosing signals. So like I say, if you know choosing signals and how that work and the laws of attraction and all that mess, you'll be fine. Because everybody down there trying to get something out you because they know you on vacation and you got money, you're American. What I suggest to keep yourself from being robbed, it's videos about this drug down there called scopolamine. It's like they pretty much can blow it in your face, put it in your drink, a whole bunch going on. I'm not going to get into that too much. So there's a couple of YouTubers you can watch. DC Born Rob. What's my boy? I'll put his name in the comments. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, you want to vet the woman that you're going to possibly